When a king dies, the throne does not disappear. It waits. In 1935, Prophet Isaiah Shembe died. But what followed was not peace. It was unimaginable violence. It was a struggle for power disguised as faith. The man believed to speak for God was gone. No public successor had been clearly named. No written constitution existed. Followers were left with nothing but fear, which soon turned into conflict and countless court battles. In 1935, news of Isaiah Shembe's death spread rapidly across Natal. Followers mourned openly. Pilgrimages were suspended. Sacred grounds fell quiet. To many believers, the prophet was not supposed to die like an ordinary human. Some believed he has gone to rest. Others feared God has withdrawn his voice. Behind closed doors, another conversation had already begun. A succession conversation. Isaiah Shembe had ruled through spiritual authority. He left no written constitution, no democratic process, no universally accepted successor. Leadership had always flowed from him. Now that central authority was gone, elders debated quietly among his two sons, Johannes Galilee Shembe and Amos Kula Shembe. Family members asserted bloodline rights and spiritual seniority. Faith had created power, and power was now up for grabs. Before the founder's death, he acquired vast acres of sacred, mountainous land around Inanda, a community north of Durban. He named this land Ebuhleni, a name meaning a place of spiritual elevation. Within months of his passing, a decision was made. The firstborn son, Johannes Galilee Shembe, would succeed his father as the leader of the church. Johannes would go on to become the longest-serving leader in the history of the Shembe Church. He led the movement alongside his younger brother Amos until his death on the 19th of December, 1976. If you're enjoying our content, please consider subscribing to this channel. When Johannes Galilee Shembe died, the Shembe Church stopped breathing. There was no will, no written succession plan, no final instruction, only expectation. And expectation, when challenged, can turn violent. For decades, Johannes Galilee Shembe had ruled the Nazareth Baptist Church with absolute authority. He was firm, he was feared, he was obeyed. But when death came, it exposed a fatal weakness. Within the church, one belief spread almost immediately and almost universally. The rightful successor should be Johannes's younger brother, Amos Kula Shembe. Amos was senior, experienced, and deeply rooted in church law and rituals. To ordinary members, the logic was simple. Leadership had and should always stay in the Shembe bloodline. Many argued Amos represented continuity. The church needed stability, not experiments. Quietly, people said it. Openly, people believed it. But belief is not equal to power. Johannes Galilee Shembe left behind two sons, Londa Shembe and Vela Shembe. They strongly rejected the idea of their uncle taking over. To them, leadership did not move sideways. It moved downward, from father to son. Allowing Amos to lead meant surrendering authority, influence, control of sacred sites, and the deviation of bloodline leadership. For Londa and Vela, this was not theology, it was survival. The conflict turned physical. Londa and Vela confronted their uncle. Reports describe heated confrontations, forced removal from church grounds, threats, and intimidation. Amos Kula Shembe was chased out of the church he had served for decades. This moment would change Shembe history forever. Because Amos felt betrayed, He did the unthinkable and broke away. If you value African history told with depth and honesty, consider subscribing to this channel. Amos Kula Shembe established the Ebuhleni faction of the Nazareth Baptist Church, which would later become the largest faction of the split. This was not just a split, it was a declaration. From this point forward, the Shembe Church existed in parallel. The main church under Londa and Ebuhleni under Amos. Followers were forced to choose. Families fractured. Friendships collapsed. Faith became geography. With Amos gone, Londa Shembe consolidated control of the main church. He ruled firmly, silenced dissent, protected his authority. But power breeds enemies. On the night of 7th April 1989, Londa Shembe was assassinated in his sleep. The killing shocked the nation. The church that preached holiness was now stained with blood. No one was ever officially charged for his murder, but the message was clear. Fighting for leadership in the Shembe Church could be fatal. After Londa's assassination, his son Vukile Shembe took over leadership of the main church. The cycle continued: bloodline over belief, inheritance over consensus. But something unexpected happened next. After his brother Londa's death, Vela Shembe made a surprising move. He reconciled with his uncle, Amos Kula Shembe. Former enemies started to work together. For years, Vela aligned himself closely with the Ebuhleni faction. It was an uneasy peace, but a historic one, until death intervened again. In 1996, Amos Kula Shembe died. This time, there was no chaos. His son Shembe Shembe was officially ordained as leader. Under Shembe, the Ebuhleni faction grew stronger and more structured. He led the church alongside his son Nduduzi and his uncle Vela Shembe. For the first time in decades, leadership seemed settled. Shembe Shembe died at 74 after suffering a long illness. Unlike his predecessors, he was prepared. When he died on 28 March 2011, he left behind a written will and a clear succession plan. But at his burial, something extraordinary happened. Church elders publicly ordained his son, Nduduzi Shembe, as the next leader immediately. Vela Shembe was sidelined and humiliated. Then came a shocking twist. Vela Shembe was in possession of a will naming himself as the next leader. The church rejected it, followers dismissed it. Leadership refused to recognize it. For Vela Shembe, the message was clear. Faith had failed him, so he turned to the law. Vela Shembe approached the Durban High Court and sought an interdict to freeze church assets worth over 200 million rand. Sacred land, buildings, and accounts were all frozen. This single legal move opened the door to years of litigation. Faith had entered the courtroom, and the Shembe Church would never be the same again. After 5 years of legal and physical battle, the Durban High Court handed down the judgment that legally recognized Vela Shembe as the rightful successor. 6 years following his victory at the Durban High Court, Vela Shembe died in 2017 after a period of illness. No official finding of foul play was ever made. Vela's brother Pinda Shembe took over after his death as the leader of the Thembezindli faction which Vela founded. The Ebuhleni faction is by far the largest faction of the split, and its leader remains Nduduzi Shembe. The Shembe Church began with prophecy. It survived through bloodline, and now it stood before the law. What followed were years of court battles, media scrutiny, and deep division within family bloodline. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and get notified when we release our next video. Thanks for watching and see you in the next episode.